Hey you guys, LH signing in, bringing you what is 100% authentic, can never be compromised or manufactured. Yeah you guys, I am out here on a beautiful, somewhat overcast but somewhat sunny day. Man, what could I start? It's been a very overreactive week for me, not just in action but a lot in spirit. As you guys probably have heard, I believe today is the closing of Lionsgate, so that means a lot of asking meditation, very weird energy, spiritual energy mixed into reality, and also deep intense thoughts, meditations, and then also a lot of revelations. So my revelation kind of was about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and specifically Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, with the fact of their track record. I don't know, I'm not sure I made this kind of clear in the last couple of videos, I believe. Anyways, I'm not too thrilled about Kamala Harris being the vice president, and I'm not feeling Joe Biden. I could care less about Joe Biden. I don't care, just because he's the other option besides Trump. It just goes back for me. I have a long track record with the fact of from the 90s, okay, with Bill Clinton being the president, and then finding out some years later, as I got older of age, particularly him and his wife came up with the 3 strikes rule, 3 strikes you're out rule. He is the person alongside the policy congressional member in his presidency, Joe Biden. Joe Biden was back in the 90s. Joe Biden goes all the way back to President Bill Clinton's presidency back in the 90s. He is one of the sole reasons that there was a 3 strikes you're out rule that heavily influenced black people under Reagan. Before Reagan already did the damage. Reagan, during his presidency, a lot of the inside job of the United States government fueled a lot of the crack cocaine that went into the black communities, okay? With that, a lot of my people got hooked onto drugs. Now, thank God there's I can't really say but one person that is on, no, 2 people out of my family that are from crack. Now, I don't know if it's sad because one of them was my uncle who introduced his daughter to it. But I don't know if my uncle started crack back in the 70s and the 80s when crack was being pushed like that during the crack epidemic. But I will tell you that that's close to my heart. Whenever somebody is in that, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 people, it still affects me. And it's like no man left behind or women left behind. So it still affects me in that sense. And then I don't like the greater picture of my people, my fellow cousins or whatever out there in the community have been locked up, arrested, or highly affected because of crack cocaine. And I believe that is what started off these generations kind of from losing their way. They've lost their way gradually, but I think the crack epidemic really birthed a lot of dysfunctional children because of having crack in their blood system from crack using parents. And then that's why we have all this kind of dysfunction right now. But I have a personal grudge for Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Reagan, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, no, Reagan, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and then Kamala Harris. Because Kamala Harris, and I had to argue with this fool I went to school with. Anyways, Kamala Harris was a prosecutor in the Bay Area that got a lot of black people locked up too. So I do not put it against these people, once they get in, to start doing some underlining deviltry that really affected African Americans. And she's been caught saying multiple times, I'm going to put the video up. Here's the video.
Reparations for black people.
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
Okay. She's been against reparations. A lot of these, Joe Biden, you asked him, he said no at first. Bernie Sanders, who I think his old ass will no longer be in the running candidacy. I'm not paying attention to the recent presidential whatever speeches and talks and all that, but I think they all said that, except for Elizabeth Warren, but who says that she wants Native Americans to have reparations when they've already gotten reparations, casinos, and I'm not going to downplay the reservations, because a lot of the reservations are crap. A lot of reservations, when they did that, it was basically a wasteland, a Native American concentration camp. A lot of these these places, these reservations, it really wasn't a good deal. A lot of Native Americans suffered with being in reservations. But my thing is, what are people solely going to do for the descendants of African American enslaved, who are the backbone and built this country? And I'm going to need more than just our so-called spiritual, symbolic entities, symbolic democracy, which also includes the First Lady and President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, who are really passionately trying to get us to vote, where there needs to be a check. Run a check. If you want African Americans, don't make us feel like we're like we're to blame. Don't patronize us like that. Don't talk down on us without offering us tangibles. See, they can get y'all. They can get, don't disrespect. They can get the First Lady, the first black president, to basically be tokens and use them to talk down. Don't talk down on us when you haven't prosecuted any of our killers during your presidency. I'm sorry, I love what you stood for, Obamas, but you did not hold any of these white supremacists accountable for killing us. Not one was arrested for killing us. So get out of here with that. Get the fuck out of here with that. I tried not to curse. It's Friday though. I'm free to do it. But don't patronize us when it was you who did not patronize these white supremacists and get them fucking arrested. And really adamantly pursued getting these white supremacists locked up. The Dylan Roofs, the Trayvon Martins, the killer Zimmerman. So many people were killed during that presidency. So my thing is, if you want us to do anything besides the whole voting situation, cut us that check. Cut the check, as simple as that. It's a basic barter and trade deal. That means any type of merchandise, any type of agreement. This is the Indian hand agreement, okay? There needs to be something offered in order to get something in return. And I think we are tired of fulfilling the so-called promise and democracy and peace when we're still repeating the same cycle here in 2020 of all things. But I feel like it's a great divine equalizer. I'll get into that in another video. Second of all, you have yet to address everybody else. You've addressed everybody else except for the descendants who have built this country, African Americans. You've given Japanese internment victims reparations. You've given Jewish people who we had nothing to do with this country. They've gotten reparations on the act of the Railroad and French Act. Look that up. I've done my research. You've given all types of incentives to Native Indigenous people, and rightfully so. But I'm gonna need y'all to consider that check. That's when it comes to righting a wrong, making atonement for things that you wrong, admitting that atonement, setting things right. And then first of all, you also get the benefit. You get the vote. You also get people who will not only believe what you say about coming together in democracy, you might potentially be able to soften the blow that's to come. So you guys, I just wanted to get that message across. And for those who don't agree, like that troll that I had, who unsolicitedly gave his opinion, which I could give a damn about, and I sweetly checked him. I checked him from beyond the moon to back to earth. You can pick a finger, and that's in between. Like I said, debate what I said when you have a number of people who have been done right and gotten reparations since what's done to them. You don't like it? Well, I guess the plagues will continue to happen to you. And let them come. Let them be upon you. Because a hard head makes a soft ass. And like I said, I guess it's karma. Until you pay that check, cut that check. That's all I got to say, you guys. This is LH bringing you what is 100% authentic. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay true to thyself. Happy Friday. And I'll see you guys in the next video. All right. Out.